Hello, Tamily. We have a treat for you today. This is episode 168 of Ask Tamily, and our guest today is Cassie. She actually interviewed with us back in the first year of Ask Tamily, and she was interview 49. So we're happy to invite her back for being interview 168, and we'll learn what kinds of things can happen in 2 years of tamming. So once she gets on, we will be connecting. We do have some questions planned, but we want to take live questions from the chat, which you know is always the most fun. So type them in anytime, and we will make sure we ask all of them. And we're getting connected right now. I think. Yay!
All right, I'm positioning. It's like sitting on top of a Kleenex box, and I'm pulling the Kleenex. Okay, now I cannot see myself. Wait, you can't. Hold on, you can't see my crotch, can you? Like
No.
up my crotch or anything? Okay, good. Because I'm wearing. I didn't think this through. I'm wearing a skirt. Okay, I'm gonna scooch in.
Okay.
Whew.
Welcome to episode 168, Cassie. We're very happy to have you.
I cannot believe it's 168. Are you serious?
Serious. So, what some people might not know is that this is not your first interview. Your first interview was in the first year of Ask Tamily, being interview 49. But what some people also might not realize is this is your third interview because you were in the group interview in the Chicago meetup.
That feels like a different life, doesn't it?
does.
Like, oh my God, that was right before like the wall came down. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like that was like 2 weeks before COVID like hit. I don't even remember if we talked about it at all at the time, but it's like amazing. Like you're like a different person. You know what I mean? Like before and like literally BC. But I just can't believe there's been 168. That like, and also I'm shocked that I was within the first year.
Yeah, you totally were.
It's amazing to me because I remember being new to the Tamily, and I like binge watched like all of the episodes because I'm just like one of those people that's really creepy and like wants to like know everything about like everyone and all their stuff. And I remember like watching all those episodes. And I just like I was just like really interested. I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed that I would have been in the first one. That's all. So
well, we want to
I'm so excited that you like invited me back also.
Oh, absolutely. We want to know what has happened in the last 2 years of you doing TAM, and also if you can remind everyone how you actually started.
Well, I mean, I guess like how I actually started was, I don't remember. I mean, I imagine it was probably one of my late night internet searches when I do all my best internet searching. And I think this was probably in 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. And I never been an athletic person, but I've always been a workout person. And even like now I'll look back at photos of myself and I'm like, yeah, like you really were not getting the fruits of your labor. Like it was, you know what I mean? I always felt that I worked so hard and I just never was getting where I wanted to be. And I probably Googled like small thighs workout or something like that, like whatever your problem area is, right? And I found her somehow, and I did like the metamorphosis that was like illegally uploaded to YouTube for a long time, like for way longer than I am proud to admit. Like they would get taken down all the time, and then I'd have to like find them again. Why I couldn't just pay the $90 for the metamorphosis program, I do not know. Like what was my mental hang up? I don't know. But eventually I realized it was amazing. I like realized instantly like this was completely different than anything else I'd ever done in so many ways, but especially just like how it made my body feel. And I wasn't committed to it, you know, at first for like the first 2 years really, but I always came back to it. Like I always would find myself like, oh, I'm going on a trip. better do the standing abs. You know what I mean? Or I'd be like, I would go tanning, which is like really bad. I should not even admit that I've done that. And I'd be like, yeah, I need to do the standing abs. Like, and it was like, okay, well, maybe there's something to that. And so I finally like paid for Metamorphosis, finally did it. And then I like did it twice, like the full 90 days, didn't miss a day twice. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was aware there was a streaming product. Like, stop wasting your time, stop wasting your life. And I was starting to follow Tamily by then too. So I was like, I'm wasting my time. So then I just started streaming and then I never looked back.
Can we do a little housekeeping and move your device up a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God. It's not,
like
this is the problem.
Lighting.
Me not looking at myself is you were just getting like chest shots the whole time. Oh my God.
That's fine. That'll be the first phase of it.
I'm so sorry. Embarrassing. Okay. Let me know again if there's a problem at all with, and the sun may be setting soon, so just let me know if the lighting starts to get dark. I can move up.
Okay, we should be good now. So when did you start streaming?
So it didn't actually start streaming until like the fall of 2018.
Okay.
So it really hasn't been that long. It's really only been like 3 years now, you know?
I mean, that's still kind of long.
But I just mean, you know, in the spectrum of like, when you consider like yourself, for example, or, you know, how many other people that we consider like OG, you know, like it's a drop in the bucket. It's like humanity. It's like human existence on the scale of like the universe, right? Like it's just, you know, so not that long.
So that was actually a question in the chat from Drug Lizard, but you answered it already. So, Little Mamahood Life would like to know if you have an Olive and June Manny.
I do. I don't know if I've talked to her about that or not, but I do. Yeah, I never was a person that did my nails. Maybe just being in healthcare, like all the alcohol, like sanitizer all the time. And then I just reached a point where I was like, you know, I'm 34 years old and it's shameful how my hands look. Like I need to financial independence, manicure. Like it's like the stage of adult independence. Like I've got a 401k that's doing really well. I need to also have well-groomed hands. So it is.
Excellent. For a second, I thought she was asking about some kind of martini, but it was about a manicure.
Yeah, it does sound like that, doesn't it?
So Cassie, what would you say you have learned about yourself through the method since your first interview?
I love that question by the way, I think you should circle back and do re-interviews with anyone who is willing to be interviewed a second time, because I think it would be so illuminating to hear, I mean, maybe not people that have been doing it for like 15 years or something like that, because maybe the scale of what's changed is a little different, but I think that's I don't think you can do this method and be committed to this method and not evolve in some way. And I guess for me personally, like I searched this method because I probably wanted smaller thighs or something along those lines, but I found something that I was not even aware that I needed. And it was so many things, but the opportunity chief among them to finally face myself in the mirror, you know, for the first time, like, and really be willing to see who was staring back at me and reach a level of honesty with myself that I have always resisted. I'm actually a really avoidant person. And I'm not very good at being actually like meaningfully vulnerable. And it's something that I admire so much when I see that in others. And it's something that I've struggled with for my whole life. And I just feel like I'm starting to get there, you know? And it's like that thing too, when you finally realize how little that you know, but that is like a major step in your growth, right? Is like, I just realize it's funny. Like I look back at posts of mine, you know, from the beginning, and I'm like doing advanced and I'm clearly really bad at it. Like I'm clearly don't know what I'm doing at all. And I should never have been doing it. for like the first year and a half. Never should have been doing it. And it's like fine or whatever, but I'm like, oh, like, and now I'm more appreciative of like the fundamentals, right? Like there's probably a reason she chose that name for that class. Like I'm starting to really dial back and like be a little bit more keyed in inside and focus on how I'm actually feeling and what I'm doing versus like, frankly, like what is the camera angle? What is the outfit I'm wearing? Like, what are all these externalities, which like traditionally that's been my MO, is to focus on like what I'm putting out there as a distraction, as an obfuscation, instead of like, how do you actually feel? What do you actually think? What do you want in life? You know, and I'm still grappling with those questions, but I am in a better place to be able to answer them, or at least ask them.
I always think about what you said in your Tamily Tales thing, something like, you know, I came for the abs and stayed for something else. And it's like so classic, like the thing that you cannot explain to someone who doesn't do this method.
Yes, it is. I don't think it's for everyone. I mean, maybe that's not what they would say, but I don't think it is. I mean, I think that you really have to be willing to do something different. You have to be, what is the quote on the freaking sign outside 59th Street? Like you have to be afraid of doing something, being really bad at something. Like you really do. And you have to commit to it on a level that most people probably wouldn't want to do. But I think what's been so great about finding this community is that everyone is just as crazy as I am, and they believe in it just as much as I do because they have seen that too. And it's like, it's such a beautiful thing to be amongst people who like, I mean, even like going to the studios, you can just like tell, like they get it and they see that in you, and there's like an immediate respect. And like, I don't know, man, like I don't know where else in the world you can find that, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's nowhere. At least this is the only place. So we have to ask you the next question, which is, have you met Tracy?
Well, you may have heard. And I mean, I still can't believe like somehow this insane, like serendipitous coincidence that has like this luck that has befallen me. I don't even know, like I'm still like, I'm not able to like come to terms with it even yet. Like I don't know how this is happening to me, because it's like I obviously didn't, like I just wanted to come here, and like I was telling Kat, like I just want to come and like pretend I'm a member, you know what I mean? Like all I wanted to do was just like come and like literally hide in the back, wear all black, like not even like speak to anyone, just like do the class and like take a bunch of dance. Like that's all I wanted to do, was just fit in. And I guess like to now have even like been in her presence, because it's not like we like chatted or anything, you know, I didn't, to say that I met her is like maybe an exaggeration, but like I got to be near her when she is like performing her art. And I don't know what more I could ask for. Like, I mean, to be that close to greatness is like what it feels like. I sound like such a crazy, insane person, but like to be that close to her and to just see that energy up close. And this sounds like really dumb, because I'm sure like anyone else who's ever taken a class with her before, done the Vitality Week or any number of things, like this is like so obvious, but it's like I didn't like realize what she looked like up close when she performs. And it like it will forever change like how I see it, you know. And to be so close to Courtney too was also pretty great. So it was, that, you know, it happened today for the first time ever, and still recovering from it, I think.
So if anybody watching doesn't know, and especially if they did live this morning, Cassie was to the right of Tracy.
And I have to give credit where it's due. I did not want to take that spot, but Kat really, she forced me to do it. So, and I'm very grateful to her for that, because I really didn't want to. I was very, very reticent to do that, and I'm very grateful to her that she made me do it.
That is definitely just a wonderful, once in a lifetime, super awesome thing to happen.
Yeah.
So We actually have, I think, a couple more questions in the chat. Seattle Tamily actually asked, how much fun was it to sweat your balls off next to Tracy today?
The balls were sweaty. I mean, the balls were very sweaty. And I'm not like I'm a clumsy person. Like, I don't know if anyone knows, but I like knocked a bunch of shit over. Actually, Courtney kept having to move things away from me because I like was like trying to like do the high planks on a weight, or there were like too many towels. They gave us like all this equipment that we did not need. I'm sure it's because no one really knew what she was gonna do, probably.
Right.
But there was like so many things like in your, and I'm just, obviously I'm used to being home, and like it was my first time ever being to 59th Street. It was a lot all happening at the same time. But I still, Courtney gave me the feedback that I was really tense during arms, and I was, because I was like actually freaking out. But I did relax a little bit, finally, I think just out of exhaustion probably. And it was really fun. I guess, to answer the question.
That is so wonderful. It's so cool to get to talk to you today.
I know, Suzanne, and I miss you. I mean, I can't believe it was like, again, like how long ago? Almost like a year and a half or something?
Yes,
like
a year and a half ago. Yes.
Just such a crime that it's had to be so long.
It is crazy, especially because that meetup was so much fun that I was like thinking then, gosh, how often can we do this? And how soon can we do another one? Like, not for a very long time.
Yep.
We have a question from Christina. She is asking, when you started with the method, how many days a week did you start with in the beginning?
Every day.
So
literally, it was like day one. Well, like I said, I did Metamorphosis like twice. And I did have some other DVDs, in all fairness. I don't remember what they're all called. But I had like a bunch of other content that I had amassed. So I would like, I would put them on top of each other and like various things, because obviously I progressed to a point. But I mean, I guess to answer the question, like when I started streaming, like I have not missed a single day.
That's amazing.
Even when I twisted my ankle, I did arms. I mean,
yeah, that's definitely type A Tamily trait for sure. So Drug Lizard has another question for you, and I'm gonna have to learn her real name.
We got to, yeah.
So she would like to know, when did you feel comfortable enough in your workout to go to a studio class?
Well, I didn't have the opportunity to until this past summer. Allison and Katie and I went to Studio City, and I would have gone sooner, but obviously like COVID and everything. But I think that if the opportunity would have presented itself, or if I lived closer, frankly, to a studio, I mean, I live in Wisconsin, so it's like the middle of the country. I mean, I probably would have gone like 2 months in, But anyway, it was a good time to have gone, I would say, in my journey is what I will say.
So that was the first time you experienced the studio heat last summer. So you have been doing heat and humidity at home, though, for a while, right? So how different would you say is it for people who do heat and humidity at home compared to the studio?
I mean, unless you got some kind of like built-in shit with like extra voltage, which by the way I did look into, so I know it's a thing. But yeah, it's like night and day. So I mean, you can like be with your at-home heaters all you want. It ain't the same thing, not at all. And I again, like I used to wear like bras and stuff, and I still do sometimes if I have the luxury of heating my room for like many hours ahead of time. I mean, it gets into the 80s in there, which is like pretty good. But I mean, like not even close.
So is Studio City a lot hotter than 59th Street?
Studio City is hotter than everywhere. Unquestionably.
Why is that?
What's that?
Why is that? That's what I've heard. It just seems is it really small or something?
It is small. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, 59th Street is obviously the biggest for sure, but Tribeca is, I would say, it's a similar size to Studio City. I think it's just the approach of the trainers there. I mean, I didn't take a class with Olivia Schaefer, who I would like literally cut off an arm to take a class with, but I understand that she typically drives it pretty hot. Maria Kelling, I thought my skin was burning. Like I felt like I was under a heat lamp. Like it felt burning.
Oh my God.
It was like I don't even really, yeah, that was like not, that was like a different thing altogether for sure. And here I would say it's like hot, but it feels like nicer.
Okay.
It was pretty hot today though, actually.
So what would your advice be for someone who's going to visit a studio for the first time soon?
Well, okay. I would say generically, I mean, I think that it's good to establish, you know, like a connection with some of the members there, like ahead of time if you can. I think it will make the experience more rewarding. And also, you could reach out to the studio managers as well. I mean, the studio wants to accommodate streamers. They are very welcoming, and really go out of their way. Like I've had nothing but the most amazing experiences in both cities at this point. But you gotta help them out. So I think like, don't show up, like contact them well in advance. I also think, and this is especially true, I think just given COVID, the class sizes are a little bit more limited and they have certain kind of constraints that they're working under. The studios are also very, very small. So I guess I would suggest, like, I kind of went a little more solo on this trip, and then it was just Katie and Alice and I before. It's going to be easier for the studio to accommodate you if you are either alone or you're with a very, very small group. Or if you're with a group, you definitely have to be more willing to go at off hours, things like that. You might not be able to get maybe as much as like your first choice of class and things like that. Also going at off points in the year. I mean, going to LA in the summer was like, that worked out great. And it really, we got the sense that it did not create an undue hardship on the studio to accommodate us. Because again, they want to accommodate you, but like they can't do that at the expense of their members, you know, because like that's, you know, obviously. And you know, maybe New York in the fall isn't like the greatest advice I could give you then, but like maybe going during the summer, going to the city in the summer, or going to the Hamptons in the winter or the spring or something like that would be my suggestion. And then you also won't, especially if you maybe feel a little bit intimidated going to the studio, you won't feel quite as like, oh my God, there's so many people here. Oh my gosh, like, you know, stuff like that.
That's good advice. Okay, I have a whole paragraph to read to you from Hightower. So pardon my head turning. When do you know that you're ready for advanced? I feel pretty sure I still need to hang out in beginner, but I wonder what might be a good internal cue to listen for to know to go to fundamental.
I wish I knew. I mean, honestly, like I don't feel like I have a great read on like what level I even at. And I feel like as more the time goes on, I know less and less, honestly. And it's been good for me to kind of like step back and not worry about like, oh, what level am I doing? What is everyone else? What is this person who I really like, you know, I look up to a lot and really inspires me. What is that person doing? Like, I think like try not to do that as much as possible. And like the point about internal cues makes a lot of sense. I feel like I really struggle with that though. I've really spent a lot of time in intermediate for many months now, actually, and a lot less time in advanced. It feels like it's been good for me. I don't know what that means exactly. Like I often grapple with, am I not challenging myself enough or is it too much? And I have a tendency to like way overdo everything. So I usually guess that I need to step back versus doing more. I mean, I'll never forget Emily Hansen. Like, you know, this was when I was really into all the challenges, which like, again, you know, there's balance, right? Like it's good to be challenged, especially if you're someone that needs that, but like also recognize like what do you really need for yourself and is that good for you? And she was like, can I challenge you to like chill the fuck out? She didn't say chill the fuck out, but like, I mean, that's, you know, and I love her. She'd be okay if I said that, but that was the sense. She was like, how about you just like take it down a notch? And I was like, that is actually a challenge. Like that is actually a really good challenge. And I guess I've just, tried to step it down a little bit, like try to focus a little bit more on like, am I doing this right? You know, there's so many details with like every move. And even being in the studio, you can see with their like laser eyes, they're like looking around and they're like giving little, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know. Like I didn't even know. Truly amazing. And I will say there's so many great like Tamily people who've been doing this for so long too, that have like so much longer than me, that have so much perspective and so much knowledge, and it's been like helpful to kind of learn some of that too. But yeah, I feel like it's tough. I don't know if I even have great advice on that, honestly.
Well, and I mean, every single workout is difficult, like even beginner. So it's kind of like try them and make the decision for you based on what you feel like, you know?
And I guess as long as it's like, as long as it's a decision you feel like you're making for you. And again, not because like you see anything else or that's what's being done elsewhere, and just focus on you.
We have another great question in the chat. This is from Shaw Daisy, and she said, do you have any advice for Tamily members who want to start sharing their workouts on Instagram?
You just got to go for it. You do. I mean, like, the content that I probably initially shared was like awful, and like the light, you know what I mean? Like so many things were, because I didn't know. I was not really a social media person, frankly, before this. Was like very uncharacteristic of me, actually, which is why it was, it was a good thing. It was kind of out of my comfort zone, but you just have to put yourself out there. And I think like people will respond to that though. Like if you are just kind of willing to be, again, vulnerable, and like pictures of your body, moving somewhat clothed or not, on the internet, like that takes guts to do. It really does. And I think that people will respect that and respond to it, like no matter how good you are, like what your space looks like or what your outfit looks like or what your body looks like or any of those things. Just do it.
I think people like grapple with it a lot longer than how long it actually takes to be comfortable with it. Like you dive in fast and become
totally agree. I totally agree. And then you never look back, I promise.
Right. We have another question in the chat from Tessara. She said, how did you get the studio to let you take member classes?
You asked nicely. But that's what I mean. Like recognize that that's an ask, right? I mean, recognize that. And again, if you go at an off time of the year or, whatever, it's going to be easy for them to say yes to you. But, you just have to be respectful of like, again, this is a members studio. A lot of these members are really just as dedicated to the method as you. And, they want to take their classes as well. And so just be, very respectful of that and be willing to work with them. And I do think that they will do their best to accommodate you. I genuinely believe like the studios want to do that. Like they are very, very nice to streamers. But they, again, are limited. So
good advice. Kristen asked, how many not clothed workouts have you posted?
I'm minimally clothed is what I should have said. Minimally.
Rachel would like to know if you feel like in studio time is necessary to really ensure that you're executing the moves properly, and how much do you think your execution has improved since you have spent some time in the studios?
I think that, no, I don't think it is. I mean, I imagine there's probably people out there doing this method for like over a decade who've never been to a studio.
Yeah.
And probably have way better form than I do, I'm sure. And it's just because they've been a student and they've been devoted, and they're listening to the breakdowns, and they're getting all these like nuggets of information from Tracy over the years, and it's just practice, 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 practice. I don't think that you would need the studio to do that. I think I guess to me, it's not so much that my form has improved. It's more just, it's made like my energy approach to it better, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, you know, I feel like in the studio, like members are very like, they're like dialed in, like they're like dialed into this workout. And I feel like you have to be, because it's so loud. It's so hot. There are so many people around you. Like there are like distraction. And so like the effort they have to put into to like truly focus on what they're doing and like not kick someone, you know, is like, and keep up with the pace and like a million things, like their focus is just there. So it's maybe not so much the form, it's just like focusing on what you're doing, and not what do I look like, and not like, is the phone tilted at the right camera angle to record this and whatever. Like, it's just more like focus on the workout, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. We have a million questions for you in this chat. I don't even know if
Okay, I'll try to talk less. I'm sorry.
No. We want to hear from you, obviously, because you're on your third interview. So Drug Wizard would like to know, have you had a one-on-one session with a trainer before, or have you done the online consult?
No, but I really should, because I think that, again, like you could fill a vault with all the information that I don't know about what, and especially about like, what does my body really need, all of that. So I really should. It's definitely on my list.
I'm not sure this person's name, but she would like to know, what's the best habit or thing that you have done to level yourself up?
Habit. Focusing less on the recording, for sure. I mean, I obviously recorded a lot, partially because I use it a little bit as a mirror, like a side mirror sometimes to check my form, but I put it up on the dresser and I don't look at it much. And so again, kind of like dialing in and just like focusing on what I'm doing, like trying to complete the workout instead of like, what does the workout look like on playback?
Mm-hmm. Okay, Magic Fairy Dust, which is a fantastic name, would like to know if you listen to the breakdowns weekly and if you feel like it helps with your execution of the moves.
No, I'm terrible at watching the breakdowns. So remember what I just said about watching the breakdown? No, I'm really bad at it. And I try. And they say such good things, like especially like Lashana or Courtney, like they'll say these things and you're like, that's so good. But like, I usually fall asleep. Like I don't have a great attention span. I can't listen to podcasts for the same reason. I'm not a good listener. I'm just not a good listener. And so if I actually get down on the floor and do it, I would sometimes do them when they used to do the live classes and Madison would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it with her, or like, you know, so I do think that, because I'm more of a visual person. So I think that you should, like you absolutely should. I'm just really bad at it.
Mm-hmm. But no, that's a good point. What kind of challenges have you overcome in doing the method?
Well, I think that focusing less on what something looks like and it's such a double-edged sword, right? Because I feel like Tracy talks a lot about performance, and like such a cool thing today to see her, like her performance, right? Like it's like I don't think I knew what that looked like until I saw it, you know, like really. And I love that. I like really, really love that. I love the performance aspect of it, but I also have a tendency to be performative. And there's a difference between like doing that because it's like unleashing something in you, or it's like unlocking something, if that makes sense, and doing it again to like hide behind whatever it is that you're not dealing with. And so that has been a challenge. I mean, I'll never forget my best friend when I started this account, she like found it and she was like, is this a good thing? Because I know you. And like, you pick any bird watching. You'd be the best fucking bird watcher there ever was. Like, you just get so intense into it. I'm gonna make all these spreadsheets and like know everything about it. And it's like, oh my God, like, can you just manage your anxiety so you don't have to become this like intense bird watcher? Like, can you just deal with your problems? And so I like do grapple with that, like if I'm being totally honest. And I think that I'm getting better at it. And I think that I'm getting better at just like, this is who I am. This is like how I feel, and like being more honest, you know, versus like putting things that look nice out there, like because people like it, because like whatever. And I just, yeah, I really am trying, and I'm trying hard with it. But it's difficult. I definitely struggle.
Well, we appreciate your openness. Kim has a question for you. We're switching lanes here.
Which Kim is it? I can't see because of the Kleenex.
Kim 2M squared.
Oh, she's still up? Bless her.
So she said, is Burl such a well-behaved noof having a fun dad time weekend?
That's a great question. I have been sending lots of pictures and text messages, and I'm getting like nothing back. And I think it's because they're actually up north, northern Wisconsin. With his business partner and her family bought this like lake house recently. And so he went with like her husband, and their 2 little girls that were really close with, that were kind of like their fake aunt and uncle. So they all went up north. I mean, I think the cell service is probably really bad. But I'm sure she's having a great time because it's like probably cold, and she's just finally happy. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, my next question for you is, what is something that you can do today that you could not do before the method? It can be physical or non-physical.
Dance!
Yes, that's exactly the answer that we needed.
Yes, it is the answer you wanted and you needed. I mean, I really like, again, don't be afraid to do things that you're going to be bad at. Is that the quote? I already forgot. But I like cannot stress. Do you remember the things that it was so bad? It was so, and I'm not saying I'm like good or anything now, but
you are.
The improve. Well, I'm not trying to sandbag. I'm just saying like the improvement has been dramatic. Like it really has. And it was so bad and so hard. And I like, it's so lame how much I like love dance cardio. Like it's really lame. And I feel like I talk about it all the time, but I like really feel proud of myself for doing it. Like it really was hard, and it's still hard. And you like today with the ski or what, is that his first name, by the way? Like, is his first name? I didn't know. I called him like Mr. Ski. I didn't know what to say. He was so weirded out. He was like, okay, you're super weird. But anyway, it was so like today, even I could get some of it, but then like the footwork, like it's so hard. It's still so hard. But I feel really proud of myself for like giving it a shot and trying, and then, you know, like actually being able to do it now. Like it feels so good.
I mean, I have to say, like, the most inspiring thing I've ever seen is when all of you did that catapult at the Chicago meetup. Like, I was like, these women are like more athletic than NFL players. Like, it was the most amazing thing, honestly.
Get out.
Seriously. All of you were like off the floor in the air for 28 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, they're amazing.
I mean, and I was like still pretty new at it at that point. Like I felt really proud of myself because I had learned like literally by heart that entire catapult with Anne Claire. And I felt really proud of myself for that. But yeah, I like truly believe like if I can do it, like literally anyone can. Like I like mean that meaningfully, like really.
Well, you're definitely an inspiration, especially on that front. And we have a little surprise for you. We're going to have a guest interviewer joining us in a second.
I need to move the Kleenex. Hi!
Meg,
how are you? You look great. You look great.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello, Queen.
Is the rays blinding to you?
Your beauty, your queen-like light requires the sunglasses. Hi, Cassie.
Hello.
I have some questions
You
for
do.
you.
She's getting all serious now.
I'm scared.
Are keratin treatments worth it?
Yes. Keep going.
Do you understand how much joy it gave streamers to see you on our screens kicking ass this morning?
No, but that makes me really happy to hear it.
Would you like me to describe the level and amount of joy for you?
No, you don't got to do that. That's okay. But
been to a Wisconsin Badgers game? Have you been to an arena of that size?
I have.
Okay, so I want you to imagine that space filled with joy.
Aww.
Why does Burl only make occasional appearances in your Tam Cave? In other words, why are you denying her screen time?
Because it's hot, and because she gets up in my shit, and because she sheds a lot, and she's actually taken now that I have the floors. It's elevated, right? The floor is higher, so it gives her a better vantage point out the window. So she's taken to going onto the floors, and she gets her dirt. It's not even the hair. She just has like debris that's in her at all times, and so just like leaves and twigs and just clumps of whatever has like gotten into her is just all over my floor. And it's just I need somewhere that's clean. I have to vacuum every day. I need somewhere that she can't get at.
Well, we would all the streamers would like to suggest that you use Burl and the challenges that she's bringing to your Tam Cave as an opportunity to up your game even more.
Okay, well, I will take that under advisement.
Oh, excellent. How is your ash tree?
My ash tree, thank you for asking about my ash tree. I actually it means a lot to me, actually. I told Ben the other day, I was like, if this tree doesn't make it, we have to move. I cannot weather having to cut this tree down. No. That's how much it means to me. And it was so tragic. I'm not going to go on and on about this because nobody cares, but having to cut down the few trees that my dad had to cut down when I was a kid, it was like he didn't really recover, and I wouldn't recover from this. But it seems to be okay. Brent, our tree guy, came back. He's like this really sexy yoga man who also does he's an arborist, and he felt like it was really promising. It's lost a lot of its crown, unfortunately, but it does seem to be okay. And so we'll retreat it again next year and kind of see.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you for that update. If you could go back to medieval times, where would you go and why?
Go back to where?
Medieval times. I understand you're a bit of a history buff.
I think what's fascinating about the concept of the Norman conquest is fascinating to me, because France is England and England is France. Have you ever considered that? The Normans came from France to conquer England, and then they forever changed it. And so much of what we do in this country, I mean, literally our language, the laws, various things are informed by what those people brought to that country. And so I love language too. I think it's absolutely fascinating how much English that we use today is actually French. In fact, the 100 most commonly used English words, most of them have French origin.
Vraiment?
I don't know any French, but
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You guys are serious.
Did you have a mantra in your head this morning during class or two?
Oh,
Was
I know. It
had this morning like
oh, I know. I'm sorry. I should have been mindful of that. That actually probably would have been helpful. No, I really was just I was doing my best to just keep it together, like, and not fall, or like, what if I kicked Tracy? You know what I mean? Like what if like the water spilled onto her mat or something, like some horrible catastrophe that I would like never recover from. I was just really focused on that. So unfortunately, no mantra.
okay. Shoulder ruffle or bandeau top?
What's a bandeau top?
Like a little.
Oh, like
the thing
tube
that.
top?
What?
Like a, where it doesn't have
No.
straps?
Yeah, no straps.
I guess neither. I mean, I don't really like any of those things. I mean, I'm not a ruffles person. I'm not Katie. I don't like, not really into the ruffles. But the struggle with a bandeau top is that if you are not moving, it's fine. But if you do anything with your arms, then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a dangerous situation. Last question that I had I asked folks earlier this week to share any mantras that they say to themselves during class.
Mhm.
That your mantra is stop looking at your ass.
Mhm.
And I would like to know, we would like to know, why would you tell yourself ever to stop looking at your ass during a workout? And we asked because if we had your ass, we would never stop staring at it.
Well, thank you for that compliment. But it's because I'm a very vain person. I mean, it's truly vain. I mean, I've never seen a reflective surface that I didn't like. I had to cover the other side of the phone with a Kleenex, because I was looking at my own face instead of Suzanne's.
No one
like, what kind
can
of,
tell.
it's just, I mean, really, like, so I need to try not to be doing that, because I need to focus on what I'm doing and not what I look like.
Okay. Well, those were my questions. I don't know, Suzanne, if you want to kick me out or keep me around, whatever you want.
You can hang out until the end. Also, I did a very bad job of introducing you. So everyone, this is Maggie. She wanted to be a guest interview with Cassie, and her Instagram name is Debate Champ. If you don't follow her yet, get ready and go follow her.
Agree on that.
So thanks for joining and hanging out with us, Maggie. We do have more questions in the chat.
Well, get me out of here so Cass, you can get more answers from Cassie.
You can stay. I don't care.
I mean, you can sit around and just ooh and ah. So Z to Health would like to know if you can talk about the floor. Is it worth it? And when do you think you're ready for the purchase?
That's a great question. I love the floor. I love having this floor. I feel really grateful that I had the space and the budget to do it. And a partner who was supportive of me, like just taking over a whole room essentially to do this. When are you ready for it? I mean, I guess, I don't know. It seems like some people get the floors before they even do much dance cardio.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's like a correct point in time to acquire them, but I guess just like, well, I'll say this purely from a dance cardio standpoint, it maybe was kind of nice in some sense to have learned without them, because I got a sense for, like, Loretta always used to talk when she used to dance on her concrete floors. She would always talk about how she would lift herself up, right? I mean, she danced on concrete, and which is an incredible thing. And she would somehow find the buoyancy that like no one else can achieve. And so in some ways it was like useful to learn that skill.
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously made me appreciate them tremendously to have that bounce now. But it's interesting how quickly you get used to the bounce. Like now I've had them for, I want to say 6 weeks. And you really, like, if I had to dance on the, like, just the regular floor now, it would be hard for me. I really do. I think that your body actually acclimates to having the bounce. It also took me, honestly, several weeks to get used to just, I was like afraid of the edges, and I would like get near them, but I was like afraid I was going to fall off. And I kept telling Loretta, like, I was afraid I was going to fall through. Like, at first I was like, Loretta, aren't you afraid you're going to fall through? And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's an insane, what? Like, it's an insane thing to say. But like, I really thought I was like, the seams were just going to come apart, and I was just going to like cascade through all the way into my basement, like somehow, like it was just I was gonna go through all the floors. So it took a little while to get used to. I think if you can, again, accommodate the space, if you have the budget, if the method means a lot to you, I think there is no way you won't benefit from it. And even if you like don't do a lot of dance cardio, or maybe you're still newer at it, like the one thing Joy actually told me that really sold it to me, honestly, was that the surface is, and this makes sense, right? It is the most optimal for doing the Tracy Anderson method, right? So it's not just that it's bouncy, it's the actual surface. So the surface is like, it's like a sanded wood, and it is the perfect amount of slip and non-slip, if that makes sense. So I used to have one of those giant ass mats, which is great. Obviously, it's better than being on your actual floor. But if you've ever tried to do a split, or if you've ever tried to do a pivot, you're like, motherfucker, like it just doesn't move like you want it to move.
Yeah.
And this does. This finally moves exactly how you want it to. It slides exactly how you want it to. You don't have to take off your shoe. You don't have to put a towel down. And then it's also the perfect amount of non-slip. So when you get really sweaty, you can put your hand down and you're not going to fall and hurt yourself. So it's like, she made the point to me, she was like, I was debating what kind of floors to get, and I have like no experience using the American Gym or any of those other floors that are available, so I can't really comment on it. But some of the points that were made to me by people that had the Super G floors were like, it's way more than you do with dance cardio. Like, it's way more than that. And yeah, if you're gonna be like that into it and that devoted to it, and you want to make an investment of some kind to put in your home, like, this is it. So I guess my advice would be, if you're contemplating a purchase, I think it's absolutely worth the extra money. I also think you should go absolutely as big as you can. I think 10 by 10 is as small as anyone should go. I mean, I really like, part of me wishes that I hadn't just like gone a little bigger, but it gets it done.
Are you saying size matters?
Size most certainly matters. And it's what you do with it, but it matters.
But the options change.
The options change.
Well,
Are we still using sexual metaphors? I'm not sure I follow.
Oh my goodness. That if it's a long floor, you won't worry about toppling over the edge.
You worry about what?
What? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, kidding.
Way. I now really want the Super G floors, and I never do dance cardio.
I mean, I seriously, like, I really, again, I just didn't know like the surface itself, and I actually bought them before I ever went to a studio, so I didn't know what it would feel like to move on one. Oh yeah, I bought these fuckers in May, and I didn't get them till September. So just also an FYI, it will take months to get there. I do think if you have it installed, it's quicker. Like, I noticed Sintra had them installed, and I mean, she's also in New York, so maybe that's a little quicker. But it seems like the installation I think the situation is just a little different, the logistics of it, because they Charlie made the point to me that they have to get the wood, which coincidentally is from a town only an hour and a half north of Madison, and then ship it to New York, and then they build it, and then they ship it to you. Versus if they install it, I mean, probably some wood just shows up your house, and then the people come and they build it into your home or whatever.
Sintra says in the chat that it was about a month for her between the order.
Way quicker. So yeah, that seems to be the case. Again, I'm not sure of the logistics, but everyone else I know that's gotten the portables like me has waited a long time. And I'm sure COVID doesn't help, all those things, but just FYI.
We have a question from Chase Grams. Grams. I don't know who that is.
I like him. Yeah.
But they would like to know, can you do another skincare product review / breakdown?
Sure, but I feel like what I've used doesn't change that much. I've been pretty consistent with what I use, but I'm always happy to talk about it. I did go to Joanna Vargas while I was here. That was really fun. And I did learn that I would benefit from a little more hydration. So I picked up this like some sort of oil serum thing that I think I'll probably end up using over my retinol, especially in the winter time. So yeah, I'll do a little update. Maybe I'll try that for a while and then I'll do like a little update. That'd be fun.
Yeah, good.
A series.
Great face. So we would love to hear about it. Well, I think that we've asked all the questions in the chat. And we're at 56 minutes. So, Cassie, what else would you like to say to the Tamily while you have this audience?
I would like to say thank you to everyone who has, I think, rather unconditionally supported me in my journey to become my best self, which I think is exactly what the Tamily is for. And I had no idea how much I needed it in my life, and it is everything to me, and it means everything to me, and I have nothing but gratitude for Tracy, for the method she has created, for the community that she has cultivated, and for it feels like pretty much every single person genuinely wanting the best for me in life and for the best for each other, and seeing the beauty in me I didn't know existed, and seeing the beauty in each other that we often don't appreciate in ourselves. And nothing but love for it.
You couldn't have said it any better, Cassie. That's perfect. Well, I hope that we'll see you soon. We have to have a reenactment of the Chicago meetup, and Maggie will be there because she lives there now.
Yeah, she can run it this time. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
And what do I get paid for that?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
$0.
Just call me Julie Tamily.
We'll pay you in joy, Maggie.
Well, I did just install a trundle bed, so I have two places for folks to stay whenever we do it.
There you go.
We'll start the planning. And thank you, Maggie, for being an awesome guest host. You can join any other interviews you want.
You were good.
And thank you, Cassie. Your third interview was fantastic.
Thank you for having me, Suzanne. It means so much, especially to be joining you here from New York. And it's a cherry on top of a vegan, extremely healthy, nourishing cake.
We're so grateful to be on this journey with you, Cassie. We love you so much.
Likewise.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
Great...
Sorry that I'm spamming you all. Sorry.
No apologies. We love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.